Hey there, my name is Barbara. This is a follow-up video to my first video, Stop Using the Term Food Desert. I decided to make that video and this video because to this day, city planners, county planners, and local government use the term food desert as a guide and deciding factor to build up areas and state it in their planning. Some cities have even reached out to large grocery stores or supermarkets to strike deals with them in order to get them to develop in the food desert. The deals sometimes look like using public funds, grants, incentives, programs, reduction in taxes, or another cost-saving strategy for the large grocery store or supermarket. Another tactic that city planners turn to make the area more appealing to large grocery stores or supermarkets is to build expensive housing that attracts higher income levels to the area, or increase the density by creating multi-story buildings. While mixed income neighborhoods can be a good thing, as it has been noted that it can help reduce or even lower crime rates, this generally is more targeted to making the neighborhood more appealing to large supermarkets or grocery stores, not helping the people experiencing poverty in the area. Now, you might be thinking, but Barbara, now there's a large grocery store or supermarket in the area and it's got cheap products. The existence of the store, or now the higher income community members in the neighborhood, does not change the poverty status of the people who were already here. Let me introduce you to Hank Herrera, who went from being an associate professor of psychiatry in Rochester to a community builder, grassroots organizer, and activist in food justice. In 1992, in Rochester, New York, a Spanish-speaking African immigrant, African American, Puerto Rican community lost its only supermarket in the area. Hank worked with the community for about 6 years to bring what the community wanted, a full-service supermarket. During that time, something community members would say was, "We're as good as the people who live in the suburbs, and we deserve a store that meets all of our shopping needs and looks good too." The community got together and worked on collecting the data to figure out how much the potential grocery store or supermarket would earn. They started with figuring out how much there was in food stamps in the area, in which they found out it'd be $17 to $18 million that the grocery store or supermarket would receive if they came into their neighborhood. From there, the community worked with Partners Through Food that got them connected to their local government, the city of Rochester, and started communicating with major grocery chain stores to see which one would like to come into the area. But instead, they were met by various stores saying that that wasn't enough money for them to come in and that they would probably not do well in business in their neighborhood. Finally, Top Supermarket expressed their interest in the neighborhood. In order to get Top Supermarket to agree to come into the neighborhood, the Federal Enterprise Community Zone Program, the Community Block Program, the Urban Renewal Trust Fund, and the Housing and Urban Development 108 program was used to help fund the project. Alongside this, in the agreement, Tops had to give 80% of its jobs in its supermarket to neighborhood residents. The supermarket complied, but the people who made up the neighborhood didn't proportionally share in the success. The money went to stockholders of this multinational company, and the community was paid minimum wage, which didn't bring them out of poverty. This isn't new. It's just not really talked about, because once we've made the store, supposedly we have fixed the community's problem, so we tend to move on. As for Hank Herrera, he learned from it, and he asked better questions. How do you change a neighborhood that is poor into a neighborhood that has some assets and wealth? How do you keep the wealth located in the neighborhood? During the time that Hank worked on the supermarket, he also helped create the Northeast Neighborhood Alliance, NENA. NENA created a 2.7 organic farm and a restaurant. They delivered fresh fruits and vegetables, jobs, capital formation, and the wealth stayed in the community. Hank didn't stop there. In 2007, Hank worked in Oakland, California, and he worked alongside community members there. Together, they looked up through the 100 years of data in the U.S. Department of Agriculture for its 20 to 40 most bought products. Together, they figured out the cost of those products in their area and multiplied it by the population in Oakland. At the time of doing this, Oakland had approximately 300,000 people, and they were mainly people of color and low income. The community figured out that people in their area spent between $900 to $1,500 per person per year to buy these 20 to 40 most bought products. Taking a conservative approach on the numbers, they decided to go with $1,000 per person per year and multiplied it by the 300,000 people there in Oakland, meaning that $300 million was spent by the community on a yearly basis. Hank asked, "Why can't we capture it? And where does it all go?" Hank Herrera ended up dedicating about 22 years of his life to this type of work. He helped communities on the East and West Coast, like the New York Sustainable Agricultural Working Group, Help for Oakland's People and Environment Collaborative, Dig Deep Farm and Produce, which are all still here today, to just name a few of the places that he helped. Hank looked at food insecurity differently. He no longer just looked at the large grocery store or supermarket as the only access point for fresh and healthy food. He also saw that poverty wasn't being addressed. He saw a need for a shift, the creation of a local food system that could help people access fresh and healthy foods, remove pesticides, and build wealth, because they don't just deserve a store, they deserve a lot more. And so does my community. Check out the next video to see the vision.